What really defines danger? I mean, is it just physical force, brute strength? Or is it maybe something else, something sneakier like influence or an idea, or even something digital? Because in a world with millions behind bars, with all these walls, you have to wonder, who's actually the most dangerous prisoner? Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going well deep. Not just looking for the usual suspects, the big-name killers or gangsters. We're searching for the prisoner whose mere existence, even locked down tight, poses the biggest threat. It could be physical, sure, but maybe it's ideological. Or, like I said, something totally new. To figure this out, we kind of have to redefine dangerous, don't we?
Exactly. It's not just about body count or notoriety. It's about the nature of the threat they pose, even from confinement.
All right, so we're going to explore that. We'll look at some dark history, visit the most secure prisons, at least conceptually, and we'll look at four archetypes of dangerous prisoners. Each one challenged the system, forced it to change. We've got the brute, then the mastermind, the ghost, and finally something emerging now, the digital phantom. So yeah, let's get into it. This should be interesting. Okay, let's start with the most basic kind of danger, pure physical violence, uncontrollable, a prisoner who's a threat to literally everyone, guards, other inmates, everyone. And for this, we kind of have to talk about Thomas Silverstein. Terrible Tom.
Ah, Silverstein, yeah. He's a key figure in understanding modern high-security confinement.
And the thing is, he wasn't some cartel boss, right? He started as a bank robber. Pretty low level, relatively speaking.
That's right. But inside the federal system, especially at Marion Penitentiary back then, he changed. Or maybe the system revealed what he was.
He became a leader in the Aryan Brotherhood, yes, but it was his personal capacity for violence that was just shocking.
Absolutely. Marion was the highest security prison in the U.S. at the time. It was supposed to be escape-proof, control-proof.
And Silverstein just tore that idea apart. In 1983, under incredibly tight security, he killed two people.
Two separate incidents. First, a rival gang member. Then, and this was the real shockwave, federal corrections officer Merle Klutz.
While supposedly locked down tight. How does that even happen?
Cunning. Brutality, exploiting tiny lapses. It showed a level of threat they hadn't anticipated. Someone who wouldn't be deterred by walls or rules. The impact of that. It was immense. Silverstein's actions, especially killing Officer Klutz, it wasn't just a shock. It fundamentally broke the existing model of maximum security.
Broke it how?
It proved that traditional maximum security just wasn't enough for a certain type of prisoner. Someone utterly committed to violence regardless of the consequences.
Someone uncontainable by normal means.
Precisely. And the response wasn't just tweaking the rules, it was a whole new philosophy of containment, the birth of the Supermax.
ADX Florence, places like that. Total isolation.
Exactly. 23-hour lockdown, minimal human contact, remote doors, sensory deprivation almost. Designed not just to house, but to, well, entomb someone like Silverstein.
To completely cut off their ability to influence or act.
To neutralize the physical threat, absolutely. So Silverstein ironically became the blueprint for the system designed to hold people like him. He basically forced its creation.
Wow. And he lived in that system for
36 years, almost 13,500 days in near total isolation, in a cell the size of a parking space, basically, until he died in 2019.
So that's the brute, a physical force that required a whole new kind of cage.
Yes. But it makes you think, what if the danger isn't physical? What if it's influence? What if it's the mind?
Right. That's a whole different ballgame. Which leads us to the mastermind. Here, the power isn't muscle. It's loyalty, networks, corruption, exploiting the system itself.
For these prisoners, a cell isn't the end. It can be an office, a command post.
And you can't talk about this without talking about Joaquin Guzman, El Chapo.
The ultimate example, perhaps. Head of the Sinaloa cartel. One of the most powerful criminal organizations ever.
And the crazy part is, even when caught, even behind bars, his empire kept running. Thriving, even.
Oh, absolutely. He was ordering multi-ton drug shipments, hits, managing a global business.
From prison.
Smuggled phones, bribed guards, a lot of bribed guards, lawyers acting as couriers, a whole infrastructure dedicated to keeping him in charge.
But the escapes, those were something else, almost legendary.
Legendary is the right word, especially the 2015 escape from Altiplano. A maximum security Mexican prison.
The tunnel, right? The mile-long tunnel.
With lights, ventilation, even a motorcycle on rails, dug right into his shower floor. I mean, it's straight out of a movie.
It wasn't just getting out, was it? It was a statement.
Exactly. It was pure symbolism, telling the world, telling rivals, telling the government, you can't hold me. Your systems are meaningless against my reach.
So his danger wasn't him physically breaking down a door.
Not at all. It was the thousands loyal to him, the systemic corruption he could buy, the fear he instilled. He showed that influence, real power, doesn't stop at the prison wall.
It can actually use the prison system against itself.
That's the insidious part. The mastermind corrupts the very system meant to contain them. The escapes are dramatic, but the real damage is the erosion of trust, the proof that the state can be bought or bypassed. That vulnerability lasts long after they're caught again.
But he was caught again. And now he's in ADX Florence, the American Supermax. Does that mean even the mastermind can be contained eventually?
Physically, yes. It took a massive international effort, incredible resources, but they have him physically secured in the type of facility built because of guys like Silverstein.
So the containment is possible.
Physical containment, yes, but the lesson of El Chapo remains. His cartel continues. The networks he built, the corruption he fostered, that influence lingers. You cage the man, but the empire, the idea of that power, is harder to kill.
Which raises another question. What if the weapon isn't physical force or even a network, but just an idea itself?
Now you're getting into something even more challenging to contain. The ideologue, what we're calling the ghost.
Someone who might never have physically hurt anyone directly?
Potentially. Their weapon isn't a gun or a bomb necessarily. It's a belief system, a narrative, an ideology they inspire in others.
And the prime example here has to be Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. KSM.
The self-proclaimed architect of 9/11.
Yeah. He was caught in 2003, held at Guantanamo Bay ever since. Physically, he's neutralized. Completely contained.
Physically, yes. But is his danger truly neutralized? That's the difficult question. He holds secrets. He's a potent symbol of resistance to some, of evil to others.
And his trial, or lack thereof, of the whole Guantanamo situation, it all feeds into narratives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Every statement he makes, even his silence, his mere existence in that legal limbo, it carries weight. It can be used as propaganda. His detention itself fuels debate, and for extremists can validate their worldview.
So locking him up might actually amplify his message in some ways.
That's the terrible paradox of the ghost. Imprisonment can inadvertently provide a platform. A trial becomes a stage. A sentence can be framed as martyrdom.
The real danger isn't what he can do now, physically.
No, it's his legacy. It's how his ideas, his justifications spread far beyond Guantanamo's walls. Through the internet, through radical networks, potentially inspiring new generations. You're not just containing a person, you're trying to contain an ideology.
And how do you build a cage for an idea?
You can't, not in the traditional sense. It's a battle of narratives, not walls and bars.
Okay, so this evolution is clear. The brute needed stronger cages. The mastermind showed cages can be compromised from within or without. The ghost suggests cages might be relevant for the most potent ideas.
Precisely. Each archetype forces us to adapt our understanding of security and containment.
Which brings us to the future. Or maybe the present we're just starting to grapple with, this final archetype, the digital phantom.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really speculative, but also potentially terrifying.
Imagine a prisoner, unlike the others, a master hacker, a cyber terrorist. Their mind is the weapon and the battlefield is everywhere.
Let's call this hypothetical person Prometheus. Locked in a Supermax. No internet. Walls designed to block signals. Total isolation.
Team contained, right? Physically cut off.
Physically, yes. But Prometheus is smart and patient. They watch. They learn the routines, the technology used within the prison.
Looking for any tiny crack.
Exactly. Maybe a guard's RFID badge gets scanned nearby. Maybe a new smart device like a thermostat gets installed in an office, creating an unintended weak signal leak. Maybe a maintenance worker plugs in a compromised device.
Each needs one tiny momentary opening.
One flicker of connectivity. And Prometheus doesn't try to break out. They don't need to physically escape.
They break in.
Into the outside world systems, critical infrastructure, power grids, financial markets, water supplies, air traffic control from inside their cell.
Causing chaos, potentially catastrophic damage with just keystrokes. More damage than El Chapo's entire network could manage physically.
That's the potential threat. From a supposedly secure box, they could unleash societal collapse. It flips the whole idea of containment on its head.
Because the walls are irrelevant. The battlefield is digital, invisible.
Precisely. The digital phantom is the future challenge. How do you contain a threat that operates in a dimension physical barriers can't touch? Their weapon is information. Their reach is global, instantaneous.
It forces a complete rethink of what security even means in our connected age.
It's an arms race, but the weapons and the battlefield are things we're still struggling to fully comprehend.
So we've covered the spectrum. The brute, Silverstein. The mastermind, El Chapo. The ghost, KSM. And this potential future, the digital phantom.
Yeah, quite a journey through the darker side of containment.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? Who is the most dangerous?
Well, maybe. Maybe the most dangerous prisoner isn't actually a specific person. Maybe it's more like a reflection of what society fears most at any given time.
How do you mean?
Think about it. Each era seems to define its ultimate threat and then builds the cage it thinks can hold it. The 80s, gripped by seemingly random, brutal violence inside prisons. We got the Supermax for the brute.
Okay.
The 2000s, post 9/11, fearing global organized crime and terrorism. We focused on dismantling networks like El Chapo's and containing the ideological fallout from figures like KSM, the Mastermind, and the Ghost.
And now?
Now we live online. Our fear is shifting towards invisible threats, data breaches, infrastructure attacks, cyber warfare, things we don't fully grasp. So the monster we're starting to imagine is the digital phantom.
So the most dangerous is always whoever represents the fear we haven't figured out how to control yet.
That's one way to look at it. The arms race between chaos and control, between the threat and the cage, it never really ends. The most dangerous prisoner is always the next one, the one whose methods force us to completely rewrite the rules of security.
That's a sobering thought. It leaves you wondering, who did we miss? Is there another archetype out there?
Could be. The nature of threats evolves with society and technology.
So, for everyone listening, who do you think poses the biggest threat now? Which archetype worries you most in the 21st century? And how on earth do we even begin to contain them? Something to think about. Stay curious.